For you, you guys got a win on the road with a lot of contributors. Does that feel like a good way to start things?
Absolutely. This league, like I mentioned to the team in the locker room, is a really tough conference, and anytime you can get a win, whether it's home or on the road, but especially on the road, I think is one to grab. And I thought our guys played well enough to do that, and it was nice to get contributions from. Did you get that video? Contributions from Seth and Space and some other guys, because we're gonna need to kind of fortify our bench and get more guys involved, and for those two to step out and do some things was great.
Does that fuel everybody's confidence a little bit when everybody can sort of walk away feeling like they added something?
Yeah, I think so. And if I can continue to bring along Malik and Rashawn, which tonight was not a good game for them with the size of the other team and how they were spreading the floor, but we're going to need those guys against some of these teams in our league. And if I can bring those two along with the rest of the guys, and CJ's been giving us good minutes. You look at some of the runs we're making, and it's not always with the five guys on the floor that you might think. Sometimes it's with different lineups and not as many maybe scorers out there at once.
With the second straight game, you actually got the run with Tyler and CJ in the game. Were you thinking that those are the guys that given you the lifting and Salle when you put them in together?
Yeah, I did. What those two do, it's kind of two guys that'll do whatever we're trying to do as a team, as far as giving a little extra effort, maybe finding other guys on the floor. Sometimes, like I mentioned, too many guys that are scorers, the ball doesn't move as much, or it just doesn't have a good enough flow. But I thought those guys did a good job, and we came away with a big, hard-fought road victory.
Dante was on Jordan Price a lot in this game and had a bunch of rebounds, several assists. Is that sort of the complete effort you're looking for from him?
Absolutely. I don't know, because I still think he's got another 3 levels to what he can do, but that was a lot closer to what I'm anticipating and expecting out of him than he's been able to deliver or has delivered. Because if he can play defense and rebound, his scoring's going to happen. I think he's going to put up 15 to 20 pretty much every night. And so it was nice to see him take on their best player and make the game somewhat difficult for him.
It's nice to see they were kind of nipping at your heels the entire second half, but they never got over the hump, and you guys didn't really have to kind of claw back at that point. Is that nice on the road to kind of weather that storm?
It's good for the blood pressure, yeah. Absolutely. I've gotten too accustomed to being up and then a team making a run and us having to claw and fight back, so it was good. To see our guys kind of keep them at bay for most of the half and not have an ending where it's chaotic and crazy, which I'm getting kind of getting tired of.
Was the play where Dante drew the foul late in the shot clock at the end? I feel like that was almost
closed the game out.
Yeah,
I thought so. He did a good job of creating contact and kind of forced his way to the free throw line. It was one of those ones where they were really forced to make a call because he kind of kept biting in. And so when he got to the free throw line, I was pretty confident at that point that the game was ours.
Like always, it seemed like Seth would come up with a play here or there, a tip ball here, he'd force a turnover, a big rebound. You start taking those for granted ever, just because it seems like they happen with regularity.
Well, that's what I expect him to do, is to be that guy. And I think now that he's getting more minutes and playing, getting more comfortable out there. He's still not in shape though. He looks exhausted out there. Him in space. There was a couple plays where it was going the other way, and I thought they had weight vests on. So I'm hoping that as the season kind of goes and they play more, both of those guys will get in unbelievable shape and be able to play at a high level for a full 32, 40 minutes.
Space give you a lift tonight? It seemed like he was much better than he was the other night.
I hope so, because the other night was a rough one for him. He did some of the stuff that we're expecting. What I liked is he had a couple big blocks on the defensive end, a couple big rebounds, and then when we were kind of trying to look for ways to score, he made that big 3 at the top of the key, had a couple baskets around the rim, and he looked engaged. That's really what you're looking for, is am I engaged and with the team and ready to go? I think when he does those things, he gives us one more option on both ends of the floor.
On a night like this, when they are doing some smaller lineups, and you said it's hard to get Rashawn and Malik in, he gives you kind of a different option where you're not forced to put those guys into roles where you might not want to.
I agree. And, overseas, Space played the 5 quite a bit. Rashawn wasn't in any sort of shape to really play. Malik was still working, so we played him at the 5 a lot just to see if it would work. And what he was able to do, we were able to stretch some defenses out and give you another kind of offensive option. He's big enough and old enough and strong enough to cover some of the 5 men in our league. And I think that makes us a better offensive team.
If Price is going to get 20, I think he had 21 or 23 points in him. Is that the way? You guys forced him to take a lot of shots and kind of wore him down.
Yeah, I think so. They're a little depleted also. They don't have a huge bench there, and I think the biggest thing to try to do is keep on him, and make the game hard on him. They need him to go for 30 or 40, pretty much every night to win some of those games. And They're fighting through a lot of the same things we are with injuries and different guys and new guys and things. So they're still kind of a work in progress, but I think they're going to get better.
1,000. I was going to say.
Did you switch things on Roberts after you had the 11 points early?
Yeah, I said cover him. We were in our help defense a couple times, and you can't help and go to the baseline with the guy shoot a three. I thought the guys listened a little more tonight defensively as far as like game plan. This is what we're trying to do. And then we switched a lot of the ball screens at the end because that started to hurt us, that kind of slip ball screen, and then they were dropping it down to Washington.
So, Trey, 1,000 points he went over tonight on that three to kind of cap that run, to kind of put you guys ahead. You've seen him come a long way over the past 4. What does it mean to kind of see him have his name up there with some of those guys now?
That'd be good. I mean, I think he knew he was nearing 1,000 because he was letting them go. But he's gotten more confident. I think this year he's become more of a complete scorer than just a guy who spots up and shoots. He's getting to the free throw line. He's driving to the rim some. And, I'm pretty proud of him from where he's come from and how far he's kind of come within the program, but also as a player. It'll be nice to see his name up there. One more guy kind of that I've coached that has his name up on the books.
He knocked, I think tied some stiff on the all-time three-pointers list.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's taken a lot more opportunities than I ever had a chance to. I'll tell you that much. No, but it was, and also it was nice to see, Terrell Vinson and Javon Farrell and Jesse Morgan all came over to the game. A lot of guys that meant a lot to the program. So it was good to see those guys, and they all look like they're doing well, and it's good to have a lot of the former players come back.